What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the Wise Take NFL DFS podcast for week 7. Though you wonder why I'm laughing, it's because Joey was saying stuff. I had you guys muted so they couldn't hear you, but I could hear you, and I'm talking over you with the intro, and you guys are continuing the conversation, and it was funny. So it was good. Had to be there though. Sorry. CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013, and I am joined by the two GOATs, the two OGs of the Wise Take Nation. First up, Patio Joe. He's the triple OG. You can find him on Twitter at Patio Joe Ref. Joey, my man, what's happening, bro? How you doing?
Well, not much, man. It's week 7. Psyched. It's a crazy week. All right, it's our favorite week here at the Wise Take Nation, so let's get after it, man.
Let's go. Week 7. All for it. Let's do it. It's our week.
All about 7.
That's it.
Enough said.
That's it. Also joined by the GOAT, the true OG, Paulie D. You can find him on Twitter at Paulie with 8 D's. Paulie, what's happening?
What's happening, baby? Doing some basketball, preseason basketball. Shit is real, man. It's been fun. There's been some wild edges, like 31% owned players not on the slate that were announced out an hour earlier.
Yeah. You can't say edges. You can't say edges around. You can't do it.
That's right.
You can't say it around.
You can't even say, not even like a town name like River Edge.
No.
You can't say nothing.
No, Edgewater. No.
Yeah, nope. No. Don't do it.
My favorite hotel, the Edgewater.
But yeah, this is a week where you gotta get your money's worth of research because you got some really unique kind of matchups that go either way. There's gonna be something to exploit.
Yeah.
Exploit City.
Exploit City. Been watching a lot of prison shows. And, it's funny you say that. Anyway, I agree. It's a unique situation. When I went through some of these bills, the first thing I thought is like value is going to mean more to me this week, I think. Because there's a lot of really optimal and really good-looking plays pretty much at every position. So every position is pretty deep. Quarterback, running back, every position, tight end, and some guys are like kind of priced up, and it puts you in a situation. Real quick before we get started, Jalen Ramsey blockbuster trade. I don't actually know what the Rams gave up for him. I keep hearing that like they overpaid, but
2 firsts.
2 firsts.
2 firsts and a second.
2 firsts and a second.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow, Virginia. Okay.
Like they don't have another first round pick for like another 5 years or something.
Okay. Your running back's got arthritic knees. No problem. No sweat. It's all good. Okay. Fair enough. Joe, real quick, what are your overall thoughts on the slate this week from FanDuel perspective?
Oh, this slate is. I mean, I saw like Monday or Tuesday. I texted you. I'm like, this slate is crazy because I feel like there's some like really obvious plays, and then there's some good games that we can stack, some in the mornings, and then there's obviously the featured one in the afternoon with Baltimore Seattle, which I think is a better game stack than anything.
Yeah, no, I feel you. It's like an 11-game slate, but it has a bigger feel, right? Doesn't it have like a bigger feel?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the Rams, Falcons, and the Giants and the Cardinals, like those are also 2 games too that are going to soak up some ownership too. So people are going to be going a lot of places. I like it.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen any ownership like projections yet? Like who's projected to be popular?
Man,
I would say Dalvin Cook and Fournette are probably Cooper Kupp. Those are the 3 that probably stand out right now. Just out of the top of my head right now, I would think.
Yeah, I think on DraftKings, like mid-tier running backs is going to be popular. Chris Carson, 6,500 at home against the Ravens. That seems like he's a little underpriced over there. And Leonard Fournette is $7K with the amount of volume that he continues to get on DraftKings. On FanDuel,
was it? That's like the nut spot.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking, and then maybe like one of those guys of Dalvin Cook, Saquon Barkley, like those dudes mixed with those two. That's why I feel like you're gonna need the value this week, man. Because even if you go that route, the quarterbacks you're gonna like are probably somewhat in mid to upper tiers, and there's a lot of tight ends, but like even the tight ends that you really like aren't that cheap. It's like going to need it. And some good receivers. Cooper Kupp, like Joe said, Cooper Kupp. Or what?
Cooper Kupp, man. Bounce back game.
Bounce back. Show. Let's get right into it. Joey, quarterbacks, what you looking at?
Yeah, quarterback, I think this is a week you're going to have to spend up. There's not really much guys in the bottom. There's a few. But to me, site-specific, I think on FanDuel there's some guys that are going to be way more popular than on DraftKings. Like, for instance, Matt Ryan's like the 8th highest quarterback on DraftKings, but on FanDuel he's the 4th most expensive. So he's way more attractive on DraftKings just because of his 300-point bonus upside. He has 300 yards in every game this year. I think he's going to break a record if he does it on Sunday. But on FanDuel, I think probably the obvious cash game play right now is going to be Kyler Murray at 2,800 going on the road. You probably have some pretty good game script on his way too. It's going to be close. So it's not going to be. It might, if anything, it might be a blowout the Giants' way. So then Kyler's going to have to be playing behind. He's got some good floor with his rushing ability now that he's running the ball more. So guys up top like Wilson and Jackson are good, but on FanDuel there's a price difference to where Murray provides just as good a floor as Wilson and Jackson. So in cash, I think Kyler Murray right now is the optimal play. You can go with Wilson or Jackson, but I just prefer them more in game stacks or what you feel like that game's going to go. Matt Ryan, there's nothing wrong with him if you wanted to play with him. Jared Goff, too. Gotta love Goff. And if you think that Josh Allen is just going to be the game is going to be not going to be a complete blowout, then Josh Allen has a great floor, too. At his price, he's priced right in between Goff and Murray, so I just don't think very many people will go to him because both of those games are going to be closer, and you could see maybe the Bills kind of just running it out in the fourth quarter. And probably the guy that I would go all the way down at the bottom would be Daniel Jones or Gardner Minshew. Minshew, I put out there just because the Bengals have been giving up. Obviously we know they give up a lot of yards on the ground to quarterbacks. And Minshew has provided some rushing ability. One game he had 56 yards against Houston. Against Carolina, he had 42 yards. So he provides a little bit of rushing upside. And hopefully, I said something that's making CK laugh. Maybe not. I don't know.
My bad. I'm just an immature fuck for some reason sometimes when we do these things.
Anyway, so he has some rushing upside. So if you want to go all the way down so you could pay up somewhere else, Minshew or Jones would be the play.
No, I agree. I think quarterback is fairly deep, and there's like a few guys in the mix now that have that rushing upside. I think the pricing is like that's the thing. The guys they're not like that far priced. A lot of the meat of the dudes, they're not. Same thing on DraftKings and FanDuel. The prices aren't like that far apart, so you really got to pick your favorites in general. Paulie. From a DraftKings perspective, what were your thoughts looking at quarterback?
There's like a lot to like. There's a lot of I think plays where you could see paths to victory. It feels like this day and age, you got to get some rushing out of your quarterback. So Josh Allen, Russ Wilson, and Josh Allen, Russ Wilson, Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones, even like all these guys can run, and then obviously Lamar Jackson and motherfucking Deshaun Watson. Like there's so much now, Jesus. I don't know why, but Josh Allen's just kind of like standing out. Like I feel like he hasn't like hit that ceiling, and this is like as good a spot as of any for him to do that. Like I could see just like everything kind of working for the Bills, the ground game with Josh Allen and, the air game too, where he connects on a couple bombs and just has like a couple running and a couple throwing and he just kind of pour it on. at very low ownership, I would assume he's going to be pretty low because he's in like a range of just other good quarterbacks. Then you got that, high total game. I know people don't like playing Goff on the road, but I think Atlanta's just like horrible defensively, especially in the pass games. Goff, I like his receivers. I like the idea of using him. There's a lot to like.
Yeah.
But, I agree kind of what Joey said about Russ Wilson, like probably more so for game stacks than anything. But, we've gotten him in a couple spots where he's fallen behind and he's so fucking good that he's just always going to keep his team in the game. So if we could find that game where they fall behind, then I could see him having another 40 burger. It's really like which one of these quarterbacks is going to fall behind and then like rally his team back and just accumulate massive stats. That's like what we're looking for now.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think of the quarterbacks that I'm like looking at to begin with, like even Matt Ryan, like I'm cool with Matt Ryan, but on DraftKings when I look at Matt Ryan and I look at the guys around him, it's hard for me to pick him over one of these guys that run that run the ball.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many of them on DraftKings now, and you can get a bonus for rushing. Hey, you both mentioned Josh Allen, and even if Buffalo does dominate Miami, even if they do, which they probably will, they're coming off a bye, they're rested, Miami's terrible. It's gonna be Josh Allen that has something to do with it, right? It's not like they're running the ball for tons of touchdowns. Like he's the one that's running those touchdowns, and if not, he's throwing those touchdowns. So it's just very likely that he's involved, plus the rushing yards along the way that give him a boost. So I'm with you. Like I like Matt Ryan this week, but I think I like some other guys better. Guys like Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, even Daniel Jones, and even if I'm taking a guy that's not going to run, I think for me Jared Goff is that guy for $100 less, because of the fact that Atlanta has been so bad against the pass. They've actually been kind of like a pass funnel type defense so far this season, contrary to what they have been over the last few years. So I think Goff, I'm looking at heavily. Atlanta has no pressure on the quarterbacks. A very, very good bounce back spot for him. He's going to be in the opposite situation he was last week when he was just getting, just blitzed constantly or just under duress by the very, very good San Francisco 49er defense. But I'm with you guys. It's like rushing quarterbacks, and if it's not one of these rushing options, then it's probably Jared Goff for me. So we'll see what we'll see how the week plays out. Joey, you keyboard warrior, you.
Sorry.
Running backs, bro.
Running backs. Oh, running back is, to me, it's, they got a couple. There's not very many this week that I actually like. We're still waiting on some injury news. Stuff like, Kamara is out, but I didn't really like him anyway. So maybe Gurley or Malcolm Brown, they could be out too if that happens. And guys like, Darrell Henderson's going to have some sort of role. As for though up top, Dalvin Cook is facing on the road against the Lions. The Lions can't really stop anybody on the ground, so he's going to be the central point of the offense again. Leonard Fournette going against the Bengals. Those are, I think, the two chalk plays on FanDuel up top. I'm not really into Mr. Barkley this week. I want to see what's going on when he comes back. Chris Carson also gives a very nice floor for Sunday. He's maybe one of my favorite parts of that game on the Seahawks side. Josh Jacobs is also a good play going up against the Packers. They did a good job on Monday containing Kerryon Johnson, but with Tyrell Williams being out and such like that, they're going to probably try and focus more on Jacobs coming off of a week of a bye of a week. And then probably one of my favorite GBP plays of the day. I don't know if I go with him in cash, but I honestly, I feel like he's just going to blow up. Derrick Henry is maybe one of my favorite plays of the week, going up against the Chargers, who absolutely look terrible. I think that, with Tannehill at quarterback, they're not going to want to try to get in some sort of shootout. And the Titans defense haven't given up more than like 20 points all year, and they're like 2-4 or something. Like this is a good defense. They're going to want to control the clock, not make Tannehill do too much. So they're going to run the ball right up the Chargers' freaking throat because the Chargers can't stop anybody right now. I think a junior college team could beat the Chargers right now. So that means that Derrick Henry is just going to run down their damn throat. They're at home. It just seems like after they got sort of embarrassed last week too, like they're going to come out hard and they're going to just destroy the Chargers. And I think Henry is just going to run all over them. And then another good value play in that Bills game, a revenge against the Dolphins, Frank Gore. I just feel like he, out of all the Bills, maybe he's the safest for cash because you got to figure they're going to be up and they're going to be running the ball late in the fourth quarter. And if you get any type of goal line work, he's going to get a chance to score a touchdown because against the Dolphins.
Doing dirties, dropping sevens because that's just what we do. Paulie, DraftKings, the perspective.
Yeah, I don't really love much at running back, to be honest. And, I don't like the fact that you said value is going to be very near and dear to our hearts this week because I kind of feel like I want to get Saquon in my lineup against Arizona. Like, Giants all of a sudden have, the chance to, be competitive this year. And, they need to win this game. And, Arizona's terrible, and this is the kind of game where Saquon can really do some dirties. And if spending up's going to be tough, then maybe we'll get him kind of lower owned as well. The uncertainty of the injury and blah, blah, blah. But, he pretty much started practicing Saturday, that they played Thursday last week. And I like that. I do like Saquon. Scrolling through the rest of this list, I could kind of see Aaron Jones getting just a ton of usage against Oakland. Not the most optimal spot in my opinion, but with all those receivers hurt, we kind of saw this 2 weeks ago against Dallas. They just really leaned on him. Home team supposed to be in the lead, getting involved in the pass game. Don't like that the kid Williams is back and kind of in his way, but him and Fournette seem to be kind of favorites in that right game script kind of scenario. So that has some appeal to me. Keep an eye on David Johnson too. I like this kid behind him. He's been really impressing me in an efficient way. He gets 5 touches and he stands out. You know what I'm saying?
Chase Edmonds, yeah.
Chase Edmonds? Mm-hmm. Yeah. What you think? If what's his name's out, he's going to get really popular. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if he's out, load up, lock and load.
Yeah. But I'm saying even, if he's not ruled out, but, it's uncertain, maybe you play him and,
It's their
maybe, it works. Yeah. There's some receivers. We'll see if Kirk's back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He is a little expensive, but I like the way this kid runs the ball.
Yeah. It's dirty, but it's nasty, though. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's dirty, but it's nasty, though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I do. Yeah. It is.
Joe knows. Look at him. He knows.
What you guys think about, which 49er running back? Do we just go back to Breida or
I'm just
Tevin Coleman?
I'm just Breida all day. I just think he's a better player. I really do. Yeah.
I mean, they're both good. They're both. Tevin Coleman's fast as fuck. That's annoying. You got to make that decision.
Yeah.
Joey, I know, the world's ending in Charger land, but, do we jump on Melvin Gordon 5'9"? That's a good price.
I mean, he's 6'6" on FanDuel. I mean, you got to think his workload is going to go up and such. I think that team is just in disarray right now. So, the Titans defense are at home. How are they against the run?
I think the Titans are middle of the pack in every facet. I don't know. I have to look into it, but that's a cheap price tag for a guy that's normally $8,000. Line work, whatnot, right? Did he get the goal line work last game? Were they in the goal line at all?
I don't think they were. No.
I mean, that was just everything went wrong. You talk about Tennessee bouncing back. These are two teams that just had the worst day of their life, and I think that's interesting as well. So, but overall, not really impressed with the position in my overall. So yeah, I'd like to find some value, and Melvin Gordon at 5'9". Jacksonville's like the worst team in the world against the run. Like maybe Joe Mixon at 5K. Like that's crazy cheap. I think stuff like that, the secondary mid tier, like, that there's some interesting shit in there. You got the 49ers guys. I think I like that area. And then I like Saquon.
Yeah. It's interesting because the mid tier is what people I think are going to settle with, because there are, number one, paying up for running back for other than Dalvin Cook in most weeks hasn't been like a lock, and we've seen some of these mid tier guys just kind of cruise, like Carson at 6'5", like he's just been in cruise control, putting up just doing it week after week, and he's at home against the Ravens defense that has not been good. And you're just okay. And Leonard Fournette on a PPR site, the volume that he's getting every single week. So yeah, I'm with you. Like Saquon, Cook, those guys appeal to me because I think maybe while they'll have ownership, not many of them will have ownership together. And they could, they have such large ceilings that I could see it just being dirty. So I'm cool with the Carsons and the Fournettes and the Henrys and that whole mid range, but I am very interested in the guys up top. Let me ask you guys. This is gonna, and I think I know the answer, but Todd Gurley, I think they're kind of expecting him to return somewhat. Like, it's not an official. They're expecting him to return. Any interest in Gurley? And if not, if he were to be ruled out, would you go back to Malcolm Brown against Atlanta, whose run
defense
has been good? Is it on FanDuel? I don't know. Joe could tell us on FanDuel. On DraftKings, he's 5-7.
Malcolm Brown is 6-1 on FanDuel, and Gurley is 7-1. I wouldn't mind Gurley if I know that he's going to be healthy. Malcolm Brown is not worth the price. Like where he's at, he's not worth the price. On FanDuel, he's priced right around Gore, Coleman, Mixon, Freeman, Henry, Devin Singletary, Breida, Tariq. Like he's around that. I would not go. No way. You don't need him.
Right.
I think, like, if you have a ton of the pass game and you use that as a hedge, but otherwise, I don't have much interest in those running backs in the running side of that.
Yeah, no.
You see, if Gurley's out, though, don't you think maybe
the other kid,
Henderson is like the play? Like, he rode 6 times for 40 yards and caught 2 targets for 9 yards, and Brown kind of got hurt after that, so they went to him.
Yeah.
He's more explosive, and if they get in a negative game script, they're gonna go to him. Like I just don't think that like.
Yeah, Brown, Malcolm is like the goal line guy, and I don't know. But I just think I don't want to know nothing to do with that except for maybe some Henderson if Gurley's out.
Yeah, no,
that's that mega value you're looking for that you covet so much.
That mega, I'm after it, bro. I need it in my life. Injected in my veins. Let's
you need
go.
The V. You need the V in your life, don't you?
Yes, sir. All day. Oh, diggity. And then the Raiders, dude. Jacobs is really, really cheap on DraftKings. I know that I think they're underdogs, right? I don't care. They're just really cheap. And the Green Bay Packers give up yards on the run. They give it up on the run. You can run all over them. Had to cough. Joe, take us over to wide receivers on FanDuel.
Yeah, wide receiver this week is really, really weird. Like, there's not very many guys that I absolutely am in love with, aside from Cooper Kupp, who probably has the best matchup of the week. So I feel like he's going to be pretty chalky. Lock him in. The other guys up top, you just don't know what's going to be happening. Like with Julio, if Ramsey's playing, he might shadow him and stuff. I mean, he's good in GPP and game stack, stuff like that. Michael Thomas, you could play him. He's going to get his targets with the Bears. I'm just staying away from that. And then like T.Y. Hilton is in a decent spot too. He's in a good chance to bounce back. All the Rams receivers are viable. Totally off of Diggs this week, even though Diggs was in my GBP core last week. So I think Diggs is going to get the Darius Slay coverage, and Thielen's going to be the one that might benefit a little bit more. DJ Chark is going to bounce back this week. Both Bengals cornerbacks are out, so we're
Paulie,
liking that.
What you know about Baby Shark, bro? What you know about that Baby Shark, Paulie? You know about that Baby Shark?
That's the dude on the fucking Nationals.
National, yeah. It's like, yeah, trust me. When you have children, you'll realize you're gonna listen to Baby Shark your entire life. All right.
Yeah, I was wondering if
Moving
Paulie like
on.
knew that, or like if like he just knew it from Para. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
I mean, I did know like that it was some kid thing, but I've never like experienced it. You know,
It's
I've
quite
just
an
seen
experience.
the fans.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, so like I talked about like those guys right there up top, and then like the mid tier or like down below in the value range for FanDuel, there is just like a mess of guys that we're gonna have to like get into and like more because they all provide some sort of upside. Probably leading the list is Golden Tate or John Brown. Those two are in great matchups. I think with Shepard is going to get the Patrick Peterson role if he's playing, but Tate's going to be in the slot. And we all know Peterson doesn't go in the slot, so I don't mind that. I think Mike Williams isn't a bad play, too. If you look at the targets that he's been getting the last few weeks, he's gotten 13 and 10 targets, so that could maybe be in a good spot. Christian Kirk, if he plays, gotta love it. Tyler Boyd, 5,600. Fitzgerald, again, cash game play. And then if Ramsey plays, I think Calvin Ridley is an amazing play at 5,500. He's probably a good play anyways, but if Ramsey plays and he's going to be on Julio, then Ridley becomes a really good play at 5,500. Right now, that's pretty much about as low as I go. Oh, and then, of course, my gut play of the week, 5,100 on FanDuel, Anthony Miller going in the slot, playing against my favorite defense to go up against the slot, even though PJ Williams is going to be suspended. That means that the guy that couldn't start in his, over PJ Williams is going to be playing, so he can't be much better. So the way I look at it is Anthony Miller, he had 7 targets the last game, 4 for 52. It's definitely a GBP play, and I don't think anybody will be on him, but I think he has a good matchup. And if, Lattimore is supposed to be locking down A-Rob, they're going to have to throw the ball to somebody. So I feel like it's either going to be Miller or Tariq Cohen. Maybe a Taylor Gabriel game if he plays, but I like definitely Miller at 5,100. But that's about it right now.
Doing dirt and dirts. Paulie D, obviously, we all are going to be paying very close attention to that Green Bay Packers wide receiver situation going into the week.
Yeah.
What do you got on DraftKings wide receivers?
Yeah, so, I'm kind of pot committed to DeAndre Hopkins at this point. I would assume there's a couple more 30 burgers in this guy's career, and they should come soon. Indianapolis not very good defensively. They did kind of play well against Kansas City, but I think some of that to do with Mahomes being hurt. Watson really just playing incredible football right now, and one of these games is going to go Hopkins' way. So if I'm paying up, I'm gonna go there. I like all the Rams receivers probably in Kupp, Woods, Cooks order. Tyler Lockett seems interesting, maybe a little pricey, but I think he can really throw on Baltimore more so than run. John Brown against Miami, I talked about liking his quarterback, so he's obviously the guy I'm going to pair. And then, there might be some really deep value at the receiver position. I don't even know if I really want to say any of these plays on the air.
Lazard.
Yeah, Lazard, but I'm more into Kumaro. I think everyone's going to run to Lazard, but Kumaro's really talented and probably will surpass one of the guys that he's behind next season. He's been awesome in 2 years worth of preseason. I kind of like, both of them. They're just so cheap if we get multiple guys out. But, this one's really I don't know. This might be just a little too deep, but Adam Humphries on Tennessee, he's 3-4. he's gotten 6 targets 2 weeks in a row, and now he gets like a check down artist who like really like throwing into the slot. Like, he had I think Edelman for a season, or if not Edelman, an Edelman-esque receiver at Miami back in the day, and then they maybe it was Wes Welker, those kind of receivers. So like I could see Adam Humphries being used a bit more, as like a security blanket, and I think they're going to fall behind. Adam Humphries 3-4. It's kind of interesting. Like we've seen him have big games when he was on Tampa. And, if you really are desperate, I think that could be something you try on a PPR site. Also think we could kind of look at Dante Pettis. Like this kid's good, and he just kind of got in like the doghouse. But when thrown to last year, when he finally like got into the role and like multiple people were hurt, like he had a couple big games, and I feel like he's starting to get his gig back. He had 1 red zone target, 3 touches. I don't know where 6 targets last week. He's 3-9-ish, 4-1. I think against Washington, like that's worth a shot. So Mike Williams is 4-6 on the Chargers. I think there's some real good like value plays if you're desperate for it. That not good, but shit that you could try that really could work out at crazy low ownership and allow you to fit shit in that works.
Oh, I'll be desperate for it, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, I'm looking for you, bro. Digging deep.
Digging real deep. I love Cooper Kupp this week, just like you guys. I think that Atlanta has an issue against the slot. They what's his name? What was his name? He's on the Jets now. Poole? Was that him? You think I would know this as a Jet fan, but yeah, I'm pretty sure. Ryan Poole, right? Who's actually been playing decent for the Jets this year, by the way. But Atlanta let him go, and they've just been terrible. Again, and it's not even the secondary's fault. Like, they have no pass rush at all. Quarterbacks just have extra long to just do what they want to do and let the play develop. So Cooper Kupp is, as of right now, is the stud that I want, especially with Jalen Ramsey being acquired by the Rams, potentially making the matchup maybe a little more tough, assuming Ramsey plays for Julio. I still like Julio, but Cooper Kupp is the number one for me today. The plays.
Mm-hmm.
One of my like harder decisions is going to be when I have to pick between Cooks or Woods, because they're both in really good spots, right? And I just told you I like Cooper Kupp, so I'll have a lot of Cooper Kupp. So when you're in that situation where you got to pick one, which one are you guys more likely to pick? Is it site dependent? Like, Joe, do you like one guy better on FanDuel and Paulie somebody different on DraftKings, or Cooks or Woods in this situation? Who would you guys prefer?
I think I'm going to go with Cooks just because on FanDuel it's more touchdown dependent. He'll have more bigger plays and stuff like that than Robert Woods. But I like Woods too.
30s.
Yeah. I favor Woods on DraftKings.
Yeah. Because it's a full PPR. It's kind of...
Cooks is faster, but Woods is like the total package. Like, he's got great hands, he's got great route running, and he's fast. So like Cooks is that home run guy. But I think it's clear that Goff prefers those other two. Like, in that comeback situation, like they're going to get multiple targets on those drives. Cooks may only get like 1 or 2 unless they find like a matchup to exploit, which is, they've rarely like premiered him, in the past game.
Agreed. And to Joey's point, I do think that Cooks has a pretty good shot of like if for some reason one of these guys got low volume, Cooks is the one that could still survive that low volume.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Goff is going to have more time in the pocket. At least that's what we're assuming against Atlanta. And so maybe Cooks, who does go very deep a lot of the time, is going to have some time to get open down there, and maybe Goff is going to find him down there. So it's interesting. I like all three also. But it's going to be tough to kind of choose. I mean, if you really think about the speed on this team going into a dome, man, it's just sick. Like, these are three. So, like, Woods used to be the burner on Buffalo. He used to be their speedster. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, Cooper Kupp's in the slot. He can play outside. He's faster than a lot of dudes that are. The quickness on that guy is just crazy. And
then the pass rush thing is so big. Like, pass rush?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. No pass rush. Goff's going to have all day. I feel like these receivers are going to have a field day. And Atlanta's been decent against the run.
Yeah, they have. That's like the one thing they are doing well.
Yeah, 30s and 7s. But yeah, I'll be hunting for value. I mean, there's a lot of guys we can talk about. You guys covered a lot of them, but I'll be hunting for value this week. Let's move it over to tight ends, Joey.
Tight ends, it's like Evan Ingram week, right? I mean, it's kind of like in cash games. I think that's where everybody goes. Tight end's a little bit more difficult than other weeks. I think we don't have Kelsey, we don't have Ertz, so it's already been a fucking shit show this year. So, like I feel like basically Kittle is just, to me, I just don't see it. Like he could do fine. I feel like they're going to be up, and he's been kind of banged up. They're just going to pull him out. So Ingram is like the cash game play. I like Mark Andrews as a great pivot off of that. We all know that Seattle cannot cover the tight end, and like Ricky Seals-Jones caught a touchdown pass last week. Ricky Seals-Jones caught a touchdown. So I like him. He's
Brown status.
What's up?
Marquise Brown. Do you guys know what his status is?
He is. He hasn't practicing, so
he has been or hasn't.
He's not. He was not practicing today. So I like Mark Andrews. He's probably my favorite Raven, I think, in that game. And if I was playing, I would pair, Lamar with him, obviously. And then Hooper, guy's just been clutch. I mean, last week was an obvious play, but you can't imagine him not being involved this week too against the Rams and whatever game script they're in. He's gotten, if you look at it, he's gotten, 8, 9, 11, 6. 6 is the lowest amount of targets he's gotten all year. So if that's his floor, I'll take that, especially with like just the way that the tight end just been a shit show this year. And then I might like live and die on that play, but Delaney Walker against the Chargers. The Chargers are just bad, and I could see Tannehill hitting, being safe and throwing to Walker a lot. And don't forget about the other tight end on the other side, Hunter Henry.
Yep. Yeah, that was pretty surprising that they
just kind of threw him in there. Oh
yeah. I heard that he was practicing, like, you know what I mean, but I just didn't know that. He gave people snaps.
I don't think anyone saw that coming.
I wish I did. Had I played him, I would have won my season long, but I didn't, and I lost.
So yeah, I mean, I look at this position, and it's like, basically 5 guys, maybe 4. Like, you got, one of the best quarterbacks in the game, pretty much to guard Julio. So who's his next favorite receiver? Definitely Hooper at this point. You got to look at that, right? Mark Andrews, if there's no Marquise Brown, like, you're gonna have like 50% market share of the pass game, and he's good, like, and he's cheap. So you gotta look at that. Evan Ingram, I'm not sure what the status is of Shepard, but even if he's not back, like, Golden Tate's around and Saquon's back, like, I mean, you gotta have a few shares of it because if he just goes for 30 like he did a few times this year, you're gonna be like, that was so obvious. But he is pricey, and like, I think an easy way not to need a ton of value on the slate is just like not play him and play either Darren Waller, Austin Hooper, Mark Andrews, or like Hunter Henry for cheap. And I think I'll have more of all 4 of those guys, especially Waller at 4.7. Like, they just gave this kid an extension. They should be losing, and I don't give a fuck if it's a good or bad matchup. The guy gets a ton of volume, and he's pretty talented. Like, 4.7 for that kind of shit, I'm in. That's really it. Like, I don't, I think you don't need to look any further. I mean, maybe you could say like Gerald Everett or TJ Hawkinson, but fuck that, right? Give me Andrews, Hooper, Ingram, Waller. I mean, that's what I'm looking.
Yeah, I hear you. Did your mic fall, by the way, Paulie? You sounded like a little more faint.
It did.
I knew it. I was like, something sounds weird, man. Like, something don't sound right. Yeah, you sounded different before. You've changed, man. That's what I was thinking.
You know what, West State Nation? That shows you how much time these two spend together. That they know when their voices change. There's something wrong, Paulie. Is there something wrong? Your voice has changed. Your mic must be off.
Yeah. I can tell with you too, Joe. You have like a $100 microphone that you just refuse to use. and and no headphones. But hey, yo, no headphone life. You know, you get the feedback.
Don't you remember last
all
time
day,
I could
son.
hear?
Yeah, I do, and that was hysterical because your voice did that devil thing. That was funny.
Oh, that was good.
That was really good.
That was really a very good moment in life.
It was a good moment in life. Yeah, I agree. George Kittle is 6,700. Like ownership wise, I don't see how people pick him over Ingram, who's 6,500 against Arizona in a sport.
Yeah.
And then, like you guys said,
that's true.
Come on, Hooper, Andrews, Darren Waller, 4-7. I like that. 4-7, week 7. See the correlation there? We like correlation, big upside plays. You know what I mean? J. Pepes, that's how we get down.
Yep.
And Hunter Henry, I'm down with against just 4K. But realistically, it's
fishy, right?
What's that?
Hunter Henry, doesn't that feel like fishy?
Oh,
like
it feels mad fishy,
like,
bro. He's 4K. It seems easy. And this is the weekend season long where I'll play him over Delaney Walker, and Delaney Walker's about to go ham. Ham, eggs, and bacon. And Hunter Henry will, knock on wood, injure himself or something because that's what he does. That's what Hunter Henry does, right? He comes in, he balls out one game, gets hurt the next. That's just his MMO, What you gonna do? But coming down from Waller's in a phenomenal price. Like that price is awesome. I understand the Packers secondary's been pretty good, but that's an awesome price. Aside from that, maybe Gerald Everett, but I don't think I go down too far from there. Maybe come White Stream time we find something, but. I keep taking tight ends against Minnesota, and that's not working for me. You know what I'm saying?
No, that hasn't worked for me very well either.
It's not working. I'm taking really good tight ends, too, like Zach Ertz, like Evan Ingram. I'm taking really good tight ends, and it's not working for me.
No.
You try something different. Defenses, guys? Did you guys even look at defenses yet? I don't even know if I've looked at that.
Yeah.
Let's go, Joey. Let's go. He's ready.
Preach.
Defense is much easier this week. Like last week, it was difficult. This week, it's either Bills, Niners, Bears, especially if Kamara's out, and the Titans.
Boom.
Thug life. Paulie,
anybody else think maybe? Paulie, what do you think?
I mean, I ain't paying 1.5 for the Dolphins. It worked last week with the Jets, but that is not happening. The Dolphins. Yeah, definitely the Bears at 3K against the Saints. I could dig that. That should be like a handful of sacks as your floor and probably a pick and who knows what else.
Coming off of a bye is just
yeah. I think we could also try the Saints. I wonder if there's any weather in Chicago this weekend or if it's cold, but I think we could take a shot on the Saints. Number one, they've got this electric kick returner that has already taken one to the house, and that's always like you got as like your GPP within a GPP play, like if that goes off. But you also got this quarterback Chase Daniel, who's been a fucking journeyman all his career, like never really.
Well, Trubisky might be back though, right?
Yeah, he's practicing a GPP.
He's like a walking turnover last time he was on the field. So
yeah, he's been back.
Then I'll be more interested. Saints defense starts
a GPP within a GPP. I was just like, wow. Like, thug life. Just wow. That was
so an enigma.
Yeah, dude. It's like a GPP within a GPP. It's like a whole different perspective on life now, man. Change, man.
You gotta go back and look at my reaction when he says it. I'm like...
Jacksonville's going to just bring the pressure on Cincinnati. Like, you saw when they got the pressure from Pittsburgh, how they just fell apart and crumbled. Like, Jacksonville can actually bring like more pressure than Pittsburgh. So that has some appeal. It is on the road, but there's a handful of teams, but I would say the Bears stick out the most. And there's actually a lot. Last week it was like the ugliest position, but this week there's a lot that I wouldn't be shocked if they put up like a 25. I think nailing a defense is kind of going to be important this week, and that's the worst weeks of them all. But
they're like,
it is what it is.
Looking at the Niners and Bills, like those look like the two easiest things on the slate, but like almost too easy. to like where
In
I almost
respect.
feel borderline fishy doing it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, how fitting would it be for the Washington Redskins to destroy, like, to completely stop the Rams, and then just Case Keenum just drops a dirty burger on them? I don't know. It's just like, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna
Well,
let
you
that
have
get into my head.
narrative.
You know, but it kind
You have narrative in
Fitzpatrick.
both games. You
Yeah,
got
yeah.
Fitzpatrick going up against the Bills, and then you have Shanahan going back to Washington.
Right.
And he was on. They interviewed him today, and he goes, "What do you remember about Washington? What was good about Washington?" He goes, "I loved working with my dad. What'd you like about it? What'd you like about it?" He goes, "I didn't like anything else about DC or something like that. Nothing else I liked or something like." He didn't like the so. Like, I think, yeah, it's funny. Like, I could see out of the two defenses, I could see faltering. I could probably see the Bills just because you could see Patrick like throwing it up there, but like the Niners defense right now, they remind me of the defense that one year with Harbaugh where they went to the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You remember, like their defense basically rode them all the way.
Yeah.
Their
They
offense
brought
was okay.
Horrible quarterback to the Super Bowl, Kaepernick.
Right.
They rode Kaepernick to a Super Bowl. Like he was the worst quarterback in the history of history, and he got to a Super Bowl. So
yeah, do you remember who got it better than us? Remember, it was like that defense was sick.
And they all retired early and like left the game. They had like Alden Johnson and who were those two linebackers that were just
I forget their names right now, but they were so good. So like I like the Niners D on the road. Like I think that'll be good. Like the Bears and the Titans too. Like the Chargers are just gonna lay an egg. That means they'll probably win, but
It'd be fitting.
They are like Chargers are like one of the top 5 worst teams right now in the NFL. So.
Dropping sevens and doing dirties. But yeah, I mean, you guys mentioned the Bears on DraftKings seemed like a pretty good bargain play. That also, like, I could see that being popular just cause. $3K for the Bears. Bridgewater wasn't all that impressive against, who did they play last week?
Bears were off.
No, the Saints. The Saints. Didn't they play the Jaguars?
So the Saints played the Jags.
The game was low scoring, right?
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah.
It was very low.
Kamara was limited.
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah, he was limping and everything. I like that. But yeah, in all reality, like the main problem I have, the Bills 49ers seem like lock spots almost minus narrative, bullshit. But the pricing, right? I need value. They're not value, so we'll see.
Give me that.
We'll see what opens up doing dirties. That was fun. At this point, we're gonna go ahead and do a couple of the. We're gonna do our best bets going into Week 7 against the spread for those of you in Vegas or Jersey or any other state that has been smartened up and legalized sports betting. Before we do that,
now
what you got?
Do the right wing people, after this kid called it a bomb scare, do they blame it on?
That's wild. That's so funny because we joke about that all the time, and like somebody actually did it. I mean, number one, true friend.
Two nights ago, I texted it to you when I was on top of the basketball donkey. I was like, bomb threat time.
The FBI probably looked into you for a second, like right after you said that. They're probably like, hold up, wait, is this guy serious? Like, no, these two jerk offs talk like this all the time. I think he's kidding. Like, you know what I mean? That's like, but Joe, did you hear about that? Like. There's like some college kid, like his buddy was losing a bet at a college football game, like the LSU game. He called in a bomb threat to try to get the game canceled so he didn't lose the game. It's like
that's a good friend.
That's a good friend, man. He's in jail with no bail right now. Oh yeah.
I hope that was enough money in that bet to get him a good lawyer.
Oh man. But yeah, anyway, guys, before we do the best bets for week 7, gonna remind everybody, if you haven't checked us out at whiteheads.com, go check us out. That is where you will find our premium content. Patio Joe doing the FanDuel breakdown, Paulie D on the DraftKings breakdown. I write my GPP notes article as well, and we have a Y stream, which is an updated live stream we do for our members closer to lock. We're also on the Slack chat, which is something our season-long members or monthly members or higher get access to. So come check us out for NFL. You can get a week pass to try us out. for the week, and I think it's like a 5-6 day pass for like $7.99, something like that. You can go try us out. But it's a pretty good time to sign up. We got NHL going for the all sports package. We got NHL going. NBA is coming up. We have a sale going on our season pass. The price did go up a little bit, but you got time to still save some money before opening day. You can check out the Wise Take Twitter at Wise_Take. On Instagram, it's just Wise Take with no underscore. Facebook, Wise Take. You can find all the ad information there. Go do dirties, drop sevens, come join the nation. Come see what it is we do and see how we help you become a better DFS player. Joey, you're up first, man. Give me your 3 best bets for the week. It could be primetime games, anything. Week 7, as long as it's week 7. Give me your 3 best bets.
All right, my number 1 best bet of the week is the Titans -2 at home against the Los Angeles Chargers.
Boom. Oh.
Second one is the Sunday night game, Philly-Dallas. I like the over in that.
Okay.
And then I am going to go with also the over in the Rams-Atlanta game.
Okay. Paulie D.
Yeah. Give me the Redskins plus the 10 against the 49ers.
Talk about that, Paulie, because I was almost thinking the other way.
It's just a classic letdown spot. They just had like the biggest win of the season, and they go on the road across the country, against a team that's not good. It's just like, that's the typical NFL letdown spot. That's like, it's got like all the boxes that you want to check for the letdown spot. Plus 80% of the public is on the 49ers. So give me them Redskins. I take the Jags -4 on the road against Cincy. Feels a little too easy. That never really makes me comfortable, but I just think like it's going to be hard for Cincinnati to move the ball on the type of defense that Jacksonville plays. Like, we've seen them struggle mightily against similar defenses. And I'll take the Jags. And I'll take the Giants -3 at home. I think they beat Arizona, who's just, coming around and exciting, but not very good and pretty banged up.
I'm with it, man. I think for me, number 1 is the Rams. I'm surprised. I mean, it looks like a fish move. I know 73% of the bets on the Rams. Line's going the other way. Rams just got Jalen Ramsey. The team got a little better in theory, but I just don't see how Atlanta wins. They are desperate, but they couldn't even beat Arizona. Oh no, did they beat Arizona? No, they couldn't beat Arizona.
No,
that was
no.
Yeah. I knew they didn't cover. But then I started wondering, did they cover?
It's the Eagles, like week 2. Otherwise, they've just been terrible. So I feel you, but the Rams ain't looked much better either lately. So
this is true. This is true. But I'll go with the Rams at the 3. I'm with you, Paulie, on the Giants, man. I do like it. I mean, Daniel Jones is like, for the first time since like part of his initial start, he's gonna have pretty much every weapon except for Shepard, but he picks up Tate, so like you're still fine.
Yeah.
But assuming Barkley and Ingram play, like he has so many weapons here, and the Giants' defense is bad. So I understand that Arizona's got a shot to pull off the upset, but at home, it just seems like a really good situation for the Giants' offense. So I'm gonna go with the Giants as well, -3, and then I'm gonna homer out a little bit and go with my Jets, the double-digit home dogs with Darnold back. The Patriots really haven't looked great. Like, they beat up the Giants, but it wasn't like the final score wasn't like you know what I'm saying. It wasn't how that game went.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
and
Giants
the Giants had nobody that game. Like nobody. They should have worked.
Yeah, and that game was in New England.
I'm with that. I like that. I do like that. What is that, like, primetime game? Is that
Monday Night Football, baby? Monday night.
2 times this year, Monday night for the Jets.
That's nice. Giggity. Yeah. That's going to do it for the NFL DFS Podcast Week 7. Be sure to join us at wisesake.com for the updated content. As we get closer to live, we get some information. We do more research, and we'll be grinding out NBA preseason throughout the rest of the week. It's like tomorrow and Friday. Saturday and Sunday, probably not. But definitely Thursday and Friday. So come check out our NBA stuff. We got day passes available. Anything in closing, Joe?
No, man. It's week 7. We'll drop 7s on them.
That's what we do. Paulie D.
All day.
Dropping 7s on them. Dropping 7s on them. 7s on them.
Americalicious. For Patio Joe. For Paulie D. For myself. The entire White Steak Nation. As always, good luck.
Peace.
Yeah.